listening to those around us. Listening doesn't mean you solve my problem. If I have a problem, okay, let me just call one of my friends to tell him and complain for 30 minutes. Oh, this and that, just complain and feeling relieved. I will not be relieved if I don't see someone to listen to, that will listen to me. So listening to those around you, starting from your younger ones or even those around in Nigeria, those are closer to you. Not everybody you can listen to anyway, except if you are acting like a radio. So virtually you can call someone, oh, how are you? Just checking on you. You are just checking on the well-being of the person. And perhaps your friend of yours already he has something worrying his mind. He's not happy with one or two things. But the fact that he's able to complain to you and you listen attentively, I said, okay, this and that, this kind of prompt, just to prompt him to continue talking. That means you are already implementing the SDG number 3 by being able to listen. Believe you me, there is a kind of limit number of, there's a dearth of listening. The listening is already a kind of pandemic on its own. Globally, people are not listening anymore. And I also do the job of my scholar here. There's a reason why Allah gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. So that means you should listen twice as we speak. So listening is also something you can do without spending any money, and you are implementing the SDG goals. I've already exceeded my question and jumped to the other one.
In terms of this tracking of a thing, I don't know the angle you look at it, but I try to relate it to TED Fund. There was a time TED Fund came to Malaysia, and I was able to speak with one of their, I think maybe assistant secretary or something like that. Establishing a database is very, very important. You see, if we don't have database, zero. Nobody is going to do this thing for us. I'll give you one small example. During this COVID-19, at the midst of that thing, we are trying to collect some things and send back. My own village, I'm from Babanla, for those who don't know, Ibomina, in Kwara State. This is like a small town. I would say it's a village. It's a small town. I lived there like about 30 years ago. So I spoke with one of my friends. We went to Islamia together. I said, Brother Dwight, can I know roughly how many people so that we will send ahead? He said, Ajia, it's too much. They are too much. I said, too much, how many? He said, they are too much. How many? Too much. Okay. I said, all right, why don't we do it like this? How many compounds we have in our village? So that's where the work started. Then he sent somebody to my town and they start counting. You know how many days, weeks this thing took us? Just to know how many compounds, Low and Babangla. After that, then I said, okay, we don't know some compound. We have Ojule, Ojule is like Gidaje, Achikin, the main compound. Like, how many Ojule in one compound? We said, we need to. So we started this thing. And you know what? I can say it now that I have the database of Babangla with me. Because of what? Because of a kind of, we try to automate. We try to keep database. Now, if I want to send something, I know how many Ojule do I want to. And that really helps us when we want to do this during the Eid al-Adha. Yes, that okay, in this compound, we give you Malu Meji, 1 Malu, 2. So this tracking in Nigeria also, we need to have database. Our system, because we don't have database, we don't know how many people is doing what, that is it. So if we have the database, we automate everything. And inshallah, at least the corruption and so many things will be reduced. And you know where to channel your, aid to. So this is, just to buttress your point.
Also, we can know there's something in Nigeria they call tracker. Last 2 days ago, the governor of Kwara State include the CSO, civil society, something, to track the progress of his infrastructure development. So when these things are put in place, at least we can be able to say that this thing is budgeted in 2012, and until 2013 or 15, we did not get the result. We can also be able to say all those things. with fact and figure, with pictures if possible also. So please, can we have a few questions from the floor before we proceed? Or questions, contributions about the theme. Okay. Alima.
Naam, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Priorities are not being addressed, and I know for sure that the government can't take it all, cannot do everything. So what I want to contribute is, like my honorable doctor has said, Dr. Auwal, in terms of putting up a proposal to have an agenda. Is it not high time we stop just coming to panels, to discussion sessions like this, discuss and leave? Why don't we, for instance, the alumnus of the school, the alumni of the school, IIUM, have an agenda for both those of us who are still yet to be, part of the alumni, and those who are the alumni, so that there will be an agenda, so that there will be a kind of sustainable program. Even if you guys or those of us here today are no longer there, the oncoming generation can, have a framework to build on. So I believe, he has said, we should have an agenda. And I want to put it to you, our leaders, that yes, you should lay the foundation because you are already, in the system, you are in academia. If we have an NGO fully registered, probably in the name of the, alumni of the school, draw up an agenda, and then, have members who would who have executive and things like that. I know these things will work out much more better than you're coming to panels to give discussions, and at the end of discussions, everybody will go back home and then it ends there. We need to make this program a sustainable one by getting registered as an NGO and make sure that yes, we have excos throughout the world, all around the country, wherever we have alumnus, and then we put up an agenda that would contribute, especially in the area of poverty, education, and things like that, so that the less privileged one, who are vulnerable, who could easily be recruited, who even themselves, by the virtue of being in poverty and not being able to feed and things like that, the issue of insecurity is very, very clear that any, doctor has said, he said, an hungry man is an angry man. So any opportunity that comes their way, they will seize it. But if they have something to fall back on, as a result of a kind of agenda that we can put in place, I believe, inshallah ta'ala, this program would be sustainable and be able to give back as a people. And now, my question is this. This issue of sustainable development in Nigeria, for now, what advice do you have for us, especially those of us who are still coming up, in terms of how we can, give our own simple contribution, especially in a way that will be very, very impactful in our different societies from which we all came. Because if we are not, as a people, ready to contribute our own quota, then we should stop playing blame game, telling people you have done this, you have not done this. We should see it as individuals, that we are all in one way or the other responsible to contribute our own quota. But what ways, what directions can you give us to make sure in our own little way we can, give contributions so that sustainable development in Nigeria will be something not just theoretical that will be put into practice. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. I think I will give to Dr.
Okay, thank you very much for this inspiring talk. I call it a talk, not a question. It's actually very important. Every one of us here has something to do. That's what I see it. You can start from now. If you are just a new student, know what kind of research you want to do. I think this is the first. a research that can actually give back to the society, a research that can be utilized by the human beings, not just a research that some people do it just to finish and get the PhD or the master's. No. Think about the outcome. Is it a sustainable one? What kind of research are you doing? Or you are just looking for the paper and go. At the end, khalas. Many people do that and at the end they are nothing. Khalas, finished. So you need to know from now what kind of research you are doing. And then start implementing. So as he says, we need to start thinking about NGOs, worker foundations, cooperative societies. At least every one of us here is a figure in his village, in his town. Think of how you can give back to these people. As Prof says, many people don't know. Even university lecturers, they don't know something to do, how to do research. They even don't know how I can develop myself to go and study somewhere. So what about the laymen, normal people? That means they need our help. I think that's why we are here. If we can all think that we come here because we are representing others back home, then we started to think sustainability, sustainable. The other thing I want to say is that we also need to have a plan. And plan could be shorter, and also a longer one. I still have to give you one of the plans that the Prophet ﷺ instigated for a sustainable agricultural development. He has 3 plans or 3 steps in conducting such plan. The first plan that we discussed this morning is about creating the peace. Just put a sustainable agricultural development in your mind. And the Prophet ﷺ wanted to develop an agriculture, a sustainable one. The first thing he did to create ukhuwa and peace. Why? Because if you don't have peace, even if you cultivate whatever you generate from the cultivation, whatever you do in your agriculture, you'll waste it. We can see now, people cannot go to their farms in some part of Nigeria because of the security challenges. So the first thing is to make sure the security is there. So reconciliation, all these are tools that can help to sustain or to bring in the peace in the society. Second thing, that is the plan. That is part of the steps. Step 1. Step 2, when he came, what he did, he reconciled and he write the truce with these people around in Medina. The last plan, I told you, is about agriculture. There is a breach of truce among these tribes or this Yahud in Medina. One of them, as you know, is Banu Qurayza. So when they abate, against the Prophet and against the people of Medina, the Prophet said, okay, now it's time to invade and take over the lands around. What he did, if you are to sustain an agricultural plan, you need 2 things. The first one is the skilled individual. I don't want to call it what you call it normally in finance. When you want the human capital, you don't need. I don't want to say human capital, but skilled individual. Because if you say human capital, is something else. So he has to get people with the skill to actually do the job. So when Banu Qurayza has committed all these crimes, everyone was expecting him to just expel them out. He didn't do that. What he did, he divided the land into 2. He gave one of the land as fay to the Muslims. The second land, the half one, he left it for the Muslim, for the Ummah, This is divided to the individuals. The other one is for the all. I mean, for the state. This land that is given to the state, نصفها لبني قريظة. He divided it. He gave them this land. He said, okay, I don't want to send you out. You have the skills. You know how to farm. You know how to do all this. You take this second land, but you give me the half of the product. Give us the half of the product. And this is the way to sustainability. Why he does that? Because Muslims at that time, they are not prepared for agriculture. They were from Quraysh. They come to Medina. These muhajirun didn't know anything about agriculture. They were traders. So they need to learn the skills. And they also need to know the kind of equipment that has to be used for sustainable agriculture. So that's, at the end, you see what I want to say at the end today, how sustainable that plan is. You can see today, Middle East is the best place that you can get the dates, right? And that was actually the kind of agriculture selected by the Prophet a long time ago.
Any other question from the floor? When we ask for questions and there's silence, that means there's two things. First, maybe I'll say that later. Huh? Okay, please do.
My question is kind of similar to his question, but like the extended one. So my question is, I felt like the issue is like the barriers between we, and I say we like every one of us with the ideas and everything, versus them. I mean like the people in positions, right? So for example, me personally as an international student in this like country, let's say, I have been in conference, like a one-on-one talk with the rector, with the Minister of Education, Muslim Malik, with the Prime Minister, Dr. Muhammed. I felt like everyone in this room will agree with me that in Nigeria, it is almost impossible to like have that kind of opportunity with people in that position. So I felt like the barrier that I'm talking about is like, how can we like communicate with these people? So I mean, the question is like for everyone now, like, how do you think we can like break this barrier? Because for example, the example Dr. Rashidah said, like, if you want to carry out these like these sensors, like you say, in the local government, who is in charge of it, you almost don't know this person because they probably doesn't even exist in the first place. So I felt like, how, in your opinion, anyone, like, how do we break these barriers? Thank you.
The barrier actually is there is what everybody sees. We know. I know that I may not be able to go and see the president if I go to Nigeria, no matter how. But it's easy for me to go to Putrajaya once I have appointment. And that's what every one of us is trying to work onto, to be able to at least, there will be barrier because of security, because of the type of people we are as Nigerians, you know. You don't just also allow these to, if you allow free movement, free going in and out, we know the kind of people we are. So, but at least there should be a channel, and that is what we're doing. Actually, IUM alumni currently, as Malam Momo you said, we already have an established platform, and kudos to these outgoing, what we say, the ESCOs. They have created what you said as like NGO. IUM alumni is now registered, and that was why we're able to go into the villa to invite the special advisor, and because of the outcome of the AGM we had and the symposium, the conference we had, that was why they have this budget of something recently. I have the link, in fact, 2 links, and our president, Professor Abdul Adeyemo, an alumnus of this university, also feature on the media. So these are like the little ways we're doing in our own. So we already have an NGO, which is IUM alumni, registered with Nigerian University, CAC, right? Yes, we are already registered, and it just needs commitment from you and me. And it's here in IUM. We can see the hall. I know what we went through to bring people to this hall. So having that in mind that it's you and me that will contribute right from here in IUM, then we'll now carry it up there. I can be minister. Yes, so we can do something.
Sorry, just
So let's start from home.
yeah, one thing, 30 seconds. I think the individual effort is very important. Yeah.
Oh, I gave that seconds, he spent just 2 seconds. Okay, Prof. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for, mashallah, for carrying us along with this very inspiring discussion. And I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah will help us, inshallah, to be able to accomplish our objectives, inshallah. I think my doctor has said everything. I'm just thinking that he has read my mind. Because why am I saying this? I think I've spent most of my life in the diaspora, and I've been in Egypt for almost 10 years before I came here. Then I came here also almost more than 10 years. So, and have been thinking of what to do actually. It's mentioned that we should not plan any kind of discussion without planning for a way forward, and that is what we can call sustainability. So we are not talking, awareness is enough. We know our problem, we know what we are facing. But what we need now is to come up with a framework, how the work should be done. And we call up everyone who can, inshallah, help in one way or another. I just want to mention this. That was one of our convocations here in IIUM where I attended. I could remember Professor, now Associate Prof, Dr. Qasim, is my neighbor. The year that he graduated from IIUM, we invited one of our diplomats from IIUM, and then he gave a lecture, and the lecture is still ringing in my mind up to now. He said, okay, you have been saying that you have something you want to give. You have been saying that, mashallah, you are very educated, intellectually, very well, but you are coming back home individually. So what do you think you can do to Nigeria? So you don't come collectively, you don't come together. You don't have any plan when you are here. Everyone just focus on this research, just want to finish my research, without even knowing the research that we are doing is for us to prepare for our life, how to live. So he said, okay, I do not see anything you can do if you cannot come together to Nigeria collectively, that you have something to offer to Nigeria. And you say, we come here to offer something. So for me, I think this kind of discussion, I told the president, I said, mashallah, this is very good program that even if I don't have time, I have to force myself to be here, that we need to do something. How many people are in IUM? They are not coming. This kind of program is what everyone should be here for. So I think, inshallah, I can say that all of you are our lecturer in IUM. I think, inshallah, you can, inshallah, channel the work, how we can come up together to solve our problem. I do a research on the Pentecostal movement in Nigeria, and I know how these organizations, a very well organization, how they are working. Look at our organization, in Islamic organization in Nigeria. So you even think that what is the objective of this organization? So where can we start? Professor Auwal was talking about Nigeria, about Islam. So what kind of new methodology we can put in place in teaching Islam? So these are the things that, inshallah, when we come together, I think we can. Well, I don't want us to go individually to Nigeria anymore. We will not be, nobody is going to look at us. But when we go together, we have something, this is that, engineer, this educator, this, they will respect us. So I think we can think about how we can do that, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Doctor. based on this discussion now, we can see it's talking about partnership. And if we look at it very well, even in African proverbs, they talk about brooms coming together to achieve a collective role of responsibility. So partnership is also part of the SDG, the 70 SDG goals. So I think we have to look inward so that we can be able to achieve that. Okay? So thank you so much.